Well, hello from Bangkok, my friends. I am very happy to finally be sitting down, having a chat with you about this fabulous apartment that I have been staying at for the last month and a half. Of course, there will be a whole tour that I will give you of the apartment, but I wanted to just sit down and give you the basics before we get started. As I said in my cost of traveling video, most of the apartments that I stay in, I rent through Airbnb. I do just find it is the easiest platform to use. But a caveat that I think most people don't know about Airbnb here in Bangkok is that it is kind of sort of illegal. It's considered illegal if you are staying for a very short amount of time, less than a month, but it is legal if you are staying for a minimum of 30 days. And this particular unit on Airbnb, they actually wouldn't let you rent it if you wanted to stay for less than a month. There's plenty of Airbnbs in Bangkok that don't really follow those rules, that you could stay for a shorter amount of time, and it would just be the owner of the unit who would get in trouble if the authorities try to go after the person. So as somebody staying at an Airbnb, it's not too much of a risk to you. But if you wanted to be on the safe side, I would recommend renting for at least a month like I did. The name of this building is Rhythm, and it is their Thonglor location. I do believe they have a few other locations somewhere else in the city, but this area is absolutely fabulous. Like, this is considered to be one of the best and most affluent areas in the downtown center, so I have really enjoyed living here. As for the price, I am currently paying 1,300 Canadian, which is about $1,000 for a month-long stay. That averages out to about $30 a day, which in my opinion is incredibly reasonable. In that video that I did about my cost of traveling, I had so many people telling me that I'm paying way too much money for this place and you could find cheaper, you know, why don't you get something less expensive? But to be honest, when I was looking on Airbnb, this was by far the best place for my particular dates, and keep in mind I am here in high season. Yes, of course, there were less expensive apartments than this one, but to be honest, the amenities didn't look as nice. It wasn't as centrally located as I would have liked, and for a difference of a few $100s, it didn't really make sense to me. But that's actually one thing that I really want to distinguish, is that there's a very big difference between short-term rentals like Airbnb or just staying for a month or two. I'm sure there's some local Thai companies you could probably do that with as well. And then on the other side, renting longer term, which is like signing a 12-year lease. If I was staying here for a year or longer and rented a place like this, yes, I probably would pay about $600 to $700 for a small one-bedroom apartment in a really great area. As I said in my last video, I have been very happy with this place and would definitely recommend it and want to come stay in this area once again. But before we get into the actual tour of the apartment and all the different amenities in the building, I actually wanted to introduce you guys to a really cool product that I think would be helpful to anyone who is coming to Thailand for the first time, is planning to stay here longer, and actually this would apply to many other places as well. So thank you so much to Mondly for sponsoring today's video. They are a language learning program that is currently having a 96% off sale on lifetime access to all of their language learning programs. All you have to do is go to mondly.app/Alina Mcleod. I will have the link in the description so you guys can get the special deal. Mondly is an easy-to-use language learning program that gives you access to 41 different languages that you can learn from 33 native languages. So what that means is, if let's say your native language is French and you want to learn Thai, because they do offer Thai, you can learn it from French instead of English, which is usually used as the intermediary sort of language in most programs. One of the top things that really caught my attention about them is that they offer lesser known languages like Thai, like Ukrainian, like Bulgarian. Mondly has speech recognition technology that in real time helps you know if you're pronouncing it correctly or not. All of their audio materials have also been looked over and approved by native speakers. The app currently has over 110 million users and is in the top 5 language learning apps worldwide. So as I said before, they are having a very special offer of 96% off of their lifetime access to all their language learning programs. All you have to do is go to mondly.app/Alina Mcleod. I'll have the link in the description. And thank you so much to Mondly for sponsoring today's video. So let me give you guys a tour of the apartment building, starting with, of course, my own unit, which won't take a crazy long time because it isn't very big. But for one person, I think it has everything you need. Has a big screen TV, really fast Wi-Fi, which is super important for me. It's been amazing to upload all of my videos. Over here is the dining table that I more or less use as a desk. And then over here, I really like this little bench to sit on because then you get a really good view of the surrounding areas. I really like to sit there and read. And then over here is the kitchen, which I'll be honest, I don't use a crazy amount other than this blender because I love to make smoothies in the morning, and the coffee machine. I'll use the microwave once in a while, but to be honest, I thought I would cook way more than I have, but Grab is so convenient. For those of you who don't know, Grab is like the Uber delivery service that they have here in Southeast Asia, and it's overall so cheap for Western standards to get food delivered. So more or less most of my meals I have just ordered, but I do get some produce and usually make my own salads. But it is a nice little kitchen. It has everything. I like that there is also a washing machine. And then over here is the bedroom, which is really lovely. The bed is super comfortable, and I also love that it has been quiet every single night that I have been here. That is one of the biggest factors for me if I like a place or not. I want it to be absolutely quiet. I don't want to hear any neighbors, and thankfully this place has been incredible for that. That over there is my little balcony. That's where I'm currently drying my clothes. Over here is my ridiculous amount of beauty products. That is why my luggage is so heavy. And then over here is the washroom, which is also great, has everything you need. And yeah, let's move on to the rest of the building. And now we are leaving the unit. I am here on the 7th floor, and there are 4 elevators, which I will tell you is actually such an important thing to keep in mind in any apartment that you're staying at, and making sure that they work and that there's enough of them for the amount of people that are staying here. Because I had situations in the 3 apartments that I stayed at in Kuala Lumpur where I sometimes had to wait 5 to 10 minutes for the elevator to come, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. So out here you guys can actually see the lovely pool that they have here. I'll give you a proper tour of it in just a minute, but let me actually take you up to the fabulous gym. So because the gym happens to be free right now, let me give you guys a tour of the absolutely spectacular gym that I have here at the building. This was honestly one of the top reasons that I decided to go with this place, because I was just in awe of the view that you get walking on the treadmill, because we are right downtown. It is just off of Sukhumvit, so you get an amazing skyline. We're on the 25th floor here. See, I just walk up that street to get to Thong Lo station, so it's a super convenient location. And then as far as actual equipment goes here in the gym, as with most apartment gyms, it's never super extensive. What I usually come here for is the strength training, because I usually don't have access to that when I'm traveling. I have a yoga mat, so I just do that in my room. I prefer to run outside for cardio, so when I come to the gym, I'll usually just use the weights. There's a few kind of, you know, strength building machines. They have some bikes over here, but honestly, it's the view. It's the view that makes this place absolutely amazing. And just outside of the gym, there is this lovely rooftop, I guess, patio seating area. On the other side, there's actually some kind of net benches, but here it's an open area. You could probably also use it to work out in if you wanted to work out outside. And then further on is just a sort of lookout deck over there. And here we are at the fabulous pool that we got on the 6th floor. It's especially great during work hours on weekdays, because almost always there is nobody here. You get the pool all to yourself, and it's great that the lounge beds are kind of in the shade so you don't burn to a crisp in the middle of the day, but super lovely. So there is a security gate, so nobody that isn't supposed to have access can get in, which I really like. Over here is like the deliveries table, so if you order Grab or any kind of parcel, it's great because they just like put it on this table and you can come and get it whenever you want. And then over here is the other central part of the lobby. They have some really nice sculptures, a lovely seating area. And then on this other side, I also really like that they have a little convenience store with, you know, all your basic sort of stuff that you forgot at the grocery store or need something last minute. They have a little convenience store that's open till like midnight, which is really nice. And then, yeah, this is the rest of the lobby, just a lot of seating areas. We do have one of those little, I don't even know what they call them, but you can ask them to drive you to the BTS station, which, like I said, it's only a 5-minute walk, but if you wanted them to drive you, they can. And as I said, this is not a hotel. The sad thing is that for the same price that I am paying for this lovely apartment, I could maybe, just maybe, rent a room in an apartment in Toronto long term. I could not rent a decent room on Airbnb in Toronto for $1,300 the last time that I was there. You can check my prior videos. The 2 places that I rented the summer and fall that I was there, and yes, that is peak time, so that's also why it was expensive, but I paid $1,800 the first time for a room in a basement, and then the second one was much nicer. It was kind of my own unit actually with an ensuite. It just didn't have a kitchen, and for that place it was about $2,000. So yeah, when people on my last video were telling me that, oh, you're paying too much for your place, I'm like, that's all relative. That is all relative, because let me tell you, I am more than happy to pay $1,300 for my own apartment in a beautiful building that has a swimming pool and a gym, because what I came from was so much worse. I guess if I spent a lot of time in Thailand, and of course if I was, working for the actual Thai salary, that's a whole other thing. Of course for locals it's incredibly expensive, the prices that they have here in Bangkok, so obviously I understand my privilege coming here and being able to spend that kind of money on an apartment. But I'm just saying the comparison of what I was paying literally right before this to now is a world of difference, and I am more than happy with this apartment. And before we actually close off this video, I wanted to sit down and have a little chat with you guys about some things that have kind of been on my mind and what this month and a half of staying here has really confirmed for me, I guess you could say. I have alluded in my prior videos that I have been considering moving permanently to another country and becoming a Canadian non-resident. And that is not a decision that I make lightly, because I do love Canada as a country. I do think that it is such a great place, and in many ways I would like to live there long term. But with the current situation and my particular opportunities that I have available to me with being able to have a remote job, it just doesn't make sense in many more ways than just the cost of things. I know the cost of living has gone up in many different places, but I'm just saying in my particular case, when I can work from anywhere, it does not make sense for me to pay the ridiculous kind of prices that we currently have in Canada. The taxes are also extremely high, and if I continue doing this work that I really want to do, YouTube is my dream job, being able to travel as a living is my dream job, and to me it doesn't make sense to pay 30-40% taxes when I'm not really even using the social services. And then last but not least, it also is a bit inconvenient for me to live in Canada because it's so far away from everything. Almost every single time I choose to go anywhere, I have to fly across the ocean, and it's like 7 or 8 hours to get there as a minimum. Whereas in comparison, if I was in Southeast Asia or Eastern Europe, those are my two favorite geographic areas of the world, if you guys couldn't already tell. If I'm in those two areas, then I have access to so many other countries in relatively close proximity that I can fly to for a very reasonable price, because there's a lot of budget airlines and a lot of competition. So the cost and ease of travel is also far better in other parts of the world. So unfortunately, at this point in time, there's not really many things about Canada that make sense for me going forward. I'm not saying that I won't live there again in the future, because, who knows what's going to happen. Maybe I will miss it so much, or maybe I will get some kind of incredible opportunity that keeps me there longer. But for the time being, when I do want to keep doing what I'm doing and I can run my business from anywhere, and also I'm still, relatively young, I have the energy to move my life across the world, because I think the older you get, it does become a bit more difficult. So when I have that independence and freedom and excitement to make it happen, I feel like this is a really good time of my life to at least try, because who knows what's going to happen in the future. We really can only predict things a little ways ahead of time, I would say. There's so many things that have happened in the last 10-20 years that I never thought would be happening. So that's why I always take planning for the future with a grain of salt, because I'm sure some crazy things are probably going to be on their way to us. And that is it. I think I'm going to end on that note. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I really would like to know your thoughts in the comments about my fabulous apartment, living in Bangkok in general, your experiences, or even just living abroad anywhere, since in the last part of the video I kind of got into a few other destinations. Yeah, let me know if you have ever moved abroad and what was your experience. And as always, I'm sending you so much love. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye guys.